Good evening, Dermo. Good evening, Tottenham Till I Die fan base. Thanks for inviting me on to do this post-match. I just got home from the stadium, and I'll be honest, the first 20 minutes of that game, I wanted to pull out what little hair I have. I found myself incessantly twiddling my mustache in frustration. Um, you know, 6 minutes into the game, after a pretty dire start, we give away a terrible goal, poor play from Maddison, but to be fair to Maddison, he had no options. We lose the ball. They play one pass to their striker who's, been on good form this season. Porro just backs off and backs off and backs off, and the striker just goes, you know what, I'll just hit it, and hits a very nice shot low into the goal. Semi-unsavable. I haven't really watched it back yet. But other than that, they didn't really create much. And as I said, from the 20th minute onwards, when we got the goal, the game really changed. And, great finish from Porro, and great move from Solanke, great move from Maddison. And then the crowd really got up, and, I have to put my hands up to the crowd and say, we were strong, we were loud. They were allowed to have a drum and a megaphone, and I've seen a few posts on Twitter saying basically why are the away fans allowed to have this and we're not. But yeah, we put on a lot of pressure throughout the game. We had a good spell sort of from the start of the second half, and should have scored really. We had some good chances. Brennan Johnson missed two really good chances. The second one slightly harder, but very, very similar to the goal that he scored on the weekend against Southampton. So it's disappointing to see him miss that, and he missed a header from like 4 yards, which I'm not even sure how he missed. As I said, I haven't seen it back yet. But yeah, I was just very frustrated in that first half. We're 30 seconds from the end of the game. I look down for 1 second, and then all of a sudden I feel the anxiety of the crowd as the Frankfurt are on the break as a 4 against 2. We've got no centre-backs back. It's just Destiny and Porro. And somehow, they managed to mess it up, and we didn't concede somehow. But, I thought that in the first half, Maddison was pretty good other than the goal that he was semi at fault for. He was looking for the ball. My problem is we just continue to go down the left-hand side the whole game. And it was so obvious. And I don't really understand why Maddison ends up playing basically left-back. For a lot of the game, Son, Maddison and Destiny were all in a line on the byline. Just kind of not really offering enough going forward. I thought the midfield was kind of non-existent. And I don't put that down to the midfield. I put it down to the tactics. I mean, what were they? I don't really understand what they were being asked to do. Dom was completely isolated, but I thought he had a semi-decent game. Didn't really have any chances created for him, but he worked his nuts off as he always does. And yeah, 1-1 going into the next leg. It's not really ideal. Their fans were really good, and I worry that their stadium is going to be absolutely rocking, very similar to the Galatasaray game earlier on in the season that we lost. We're coming into that with a very different position. And I think the players that were in that game have learnt a lot, especially Bergvall. I thought he was, quite bright, looking to go forward. Look, all in all, it was actually a fairly positive game. Other than the scoreline, we probably should have scored another 1 or 2. But, we go marching on into the next round. Hopefully the injury to Destiny is not too serious. It was kind of odd that he started over Spence, but I actually thought he had quite a decent game. After those first 20 minutes, there was one moment where he took on a couple players and got fouled. And from that moment onwards, he kind of, went well. But yeah, look, Andrew's got a lot of work to do for the second leg. The players need to really get up for it. And, hopefully we can see it through. But all in all, it's a fairly decent night. United drawing late on for 2 mistakes from Onana sort of made the night a bit easier. But yeah, Thanks for having me on, Dermot, and come on, you Spurs.